Welcome to another week. This week, our focus is on partnerships, and Kenji actually wrote a two-part series on our blog on partnerships, and this week is the release of part one.
Yeah, and part one really talks about, you got to think about who you're working with, and it's really important to think through before you even get into a partnership, like whether or not you want to work with the person that you're going to be partnering with, but also thinking through all the downsides. I think people can immediately think about the upsides. That's really easy. I want to work with my really good friend. We've never fought ever, right? That's what I hear all the time. But what you want to do is really think through the downsides. What would you do if the worst case happened? What are you going to do when a disagreement happens? And one of the things that we do before going into a partnership is actually assume that the worst is going to happen, assume there's going to be a major disagreement, and thinking through kind of how are we going to handle that.
And planning it into the contract too. I mean, we put all the contingencies into the contracts as well.
Yeah, and I've actually had a lot of experience with partnerships, working with one of my closest friends, who is fortunately still one of my closest friends. That I wrote about that experience in an article called "My Worst Real Estate Investing Mistakes." So definitely check that out because it really kind of shows you the ups and downs that we went through as partners and how we kind of got through that.
Yeah, partnership is really a marriage. And, like a marriage, there's actually multiple people involved as well. It's not just the partnership between you and the partner on the other side in a real estate deal, for example. It's actually your life partners who get involved. And just like a marriage, it's like your family's involved as well. So lots of things to think through. This actually reminds me of, we've put out a lot of podcasts about partnerships. And I think one of the best ones is actually with Allison Armstrong, who is an expert in men and women and the differences between men and women. She has some phenomenal books that are worth reading, but we did a podcast with her back November of last year. It's episode 24 on partnering with your significant other in your real estate portfolio. So would highly encourage you guys who are interested in hearing more about partnerships to check that one out as well.
Yeah, and so a lot of you are getting into real estate, and ultimately you're going to be partnering with your spouse, and so that's something that maybe you're not used to, and you ultimately want to kind of think through how to best work together.
Well, that's what we have for you this week. Have a wonderful week, and we will see you guys next week.